So now I'm going to show you how I attach the eyelets to my Camden cardigan on the lower bodice. And I have a little confession. I don't mark my placement marks before I sew the casing. I do all of this after I have sewn the casing. So you can see I have my bodice upper and my bodice lower. I have them sewn together at the waistline, serged here, and then I have my 1-inch line just below that forming my casing. So my next step will be to fold the casing down and top stitch to form the casing. So my buttonhole or my grommet will be here along the lower bodice. So after I have sewn the casing, I have a better idea of exactly where I want my grommet to be. And I want it to be right about here. So I have my pattern piece here with the buttonhole placement mark, and you can see I use a hole punch to punch out the placement mark to make it easier for me to mark my placement. So I'm simply going to use this placement mark to determine how far back from the free edge I will want my buttonhole. So I want it right about here below my casing line. So right about there. So now I will iron my interfacing directly to this point with the sticky side facing down, and this is the wrong side of the fabric that I'm applying the interfacing to. So now I have my interfacing pressed on. I'm going to go ahead and open the upper and lower bodices so you can see them better here. So this is my casing, this is the upper bodice and the lower bodice. I have my interfacing applied there. Now I'm simply going to mark again my placement. And I'm going to draw a circle. Now one of the reasons I like to use a buttonhole or a hole punch is because when I draw the circle, it's just the size that I need for my eyelet. Now I'm simply going to use my seam ripper and I'm going to make a small hole here along my placement mark. So I'm going to enter my seam ripper on one side of the mark that I've made and bring it back out on the other side and simply rip through. Very small hole. Now I have my eyelet kit here. I have the two pieces of the eyelet. One has a larger opening and one a smaller, deeper opening. And then the toolkit here with which I'm going to use to apply it. Now the grommet with the smaller opening and the deeper goes on the right side of your fabric. So you simply place it on the right side of your fabric where you created the hole and push it through. Work the hole around and then place your other eyelet on the other side and press the two together. Now the little guide goes on the right side of your fabric. Simply place your eyelet, take your stamp, center it atop, and simply hit it with a hammer. Simple as that. You now have your eyelet on your Camden cardigan. And so when I fold the casing down, I will top stitch here, and I will use a zipper foot so that my line of stitching can go as close to the grommet as possible and stay in a nice, attractive straight line.